Massive video update. Well, I wanted to do a video update this way because I have a lot of things I want to talk about when it comes to the schedule for this month, when it comes to SLC, SWWC, and Dragon May Cry. We're going to take a minor, I repeat, a minor break from Dragon May Cry, just roughly a week, so I can get the stuff that's coming out for this month out of the way. Next week, we will be posting not only part 5 of SWC, yeah, side stories out of the way. We'll get that one out of the way really quickly because that will actually have 2 chapters to that, not simply just the 1 chapter like originally planned. Because I have a lot of changes for that because I've had a lot of things I've had to change on that in general. Because, yeah, that one was meant to come out in January, if folks don't know. Due to the surgery problems, though, I had to change a lot of ideas for that one. But I've settled on what I'm doing for part 5. You guys will like it. The first chapter doesn't need any yet pre-reading at all. It is purely a standalone one-shot for the sake of comedy. In fact, I could post it as a standalone story without any connection, any relations to SWWC. It is the epilogue that purely connects to SWC, and the reason why is because time travel. Yeah. There's a lot to handle in that epilogue, so first part of that will be coming in Monday. Second part of that will be dropping around Friday. And in the middle of that week, since I need that week to be pretty much free, I will also be posting Where Is Our Pony? I might as well post that chapter sometime this month. That's kind of why I didn't have a schedule for this month. I didn't know when I was be posting everything. And let me see. What is the chapter for this month? I'm trying to remember. What is the chapter for this month? Let's see. It is over here. Let's see. Where is Every Pony? Where is Every Pony? Not Dragon Comfort. That was the one that already came out. Dragon. Like, you guys have been reading the story. You've already figured out by now that the pun for every chapter is Dragon something. So let's see. It is... I think it's the intermission chapter. Oh shit, is it the intermission chapter? I didn't think we were at the intermission chapter yet already. I don't want to post that one just yet. I mean, I might just break that into sections. I still don't know what I'm doing with that one. But the idea of the intermission chapter is it's basically Twilight's point of view. And I'm not sure what I'm doing with that yet, okay? Because that one is very, very spoiler heavy on what the creature is and what's going on with why Spike was asleep when we started the story. And I was going to essentially release it in chunks, that was my idea, or release it in one giant volume. I don't know if I want to release it in one giant volume, though, because I'm still working on it. That thing is still very unfinished. So I might just hold off on the intermissions and just go straight into Chapter 11, Dragon's Journey. I didn't realize we were that close to the intermissions. Oh, blazes, I'm sorry. I didn't realize we were that close. We've been speeding through that story. Most of Where Is Every Pony is finished outside of, I want to say, Season 5. Season 5 is still very rough. But everything else is fine. You guys are currently on Season 3, and you're about halfway through Season 3. And let's see, yeah. I'm not sure if you guys can see everything that I'm looking through. I certainly hope not, because these chapter listings are very spoiler heavy. Hopefully you're just seeing a cover of What's Her Name from Genshin Impact. And the reason I left that up there is because SLC is going to be going through some major changes. Not in the base of the story, mostly through the Genshin Impact interlude. and intro. Okay, we're going. I'm going to be. Please, let me be blunt. I'm taking off all the stories. I'm not deleting them. They're not going dead. The series is not going to be jumping off a fucking cliff. No, no. In, I want to say, July or August, I'm going to give you guys some time. I'm going to delete the entire SLC stories. They're gone. Delete them all. And roughly in December, I'm going to post the entire first act plus every chapter that has been posted. I think you guys are up to episode 9, and I had 14 episodes planned for that, plus the bonus chapters. Get offline. And the reason I'm doing that is because I don't like posting multiple episodes of that series. It felt very weird to do it in separate chunks anyway. And with how the reactions in the JJK section was, you guys really didn't enjoy that one. The ratings were very piss poor. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm not going to drop every single episode at once. No, I'm not doing that. But I am going to drop them all into one post, okay? Basically, it's going to be like post 1, it's going to be like chapters 1 through 9 in one single post, and then we're going to be, and on the same day, it's going to be chapters 10 and the bonus chapters. Boom, on the same day. Then we're going to be dropping chapter 11, probably in a same, and probably next week afterward, or I'm not sure on the full schedule for that yet. Okay, I'm still working out. But the main reason I'm changing the Genshin Impact intro is because of things I'm doing with other stories. And that will be very clear once I play this. Because yes, I said I'm posting it in December, but I'm not sure which December I'm referring to. Am I referring to this December or am I referring to next December? Because here's the thing. It will actually be tying to another story I'm doing involving Spike. Which I will also... Oh, forget it. Okay. I've had to re-record this about 10 freaking times. This is the reason why my words are a bit of a jumble, okay? Reason I kept saying December is because I had a Spike storyline that I had planned for the summer, right? For SWWC. You guys know, part 6 was meant to be a big storyline for Spike's SWW's whole story point. And for those who don't know, in SLC, he is trapped in the multiverse. But in SWC, his role is very small. He was a former slave to this tyrant king, and now he's on the run, hiding out in the slums. If you guys have read early chapters, right, of Sweetie Belle section, they're essentially trying to hunt him down and trying to figure out what happened to Rarity. Now, in Spike's section of SWC, the original side story I had planned for him, we were going to explore what happened to Rarity and essentially introduce Gabby to SWC, okay? Now that plan has changed. Instead, I'm going to kick them out of the side stories entirely and just make a totally separate story featuring Spike, featuring Slave Spike, meeting Gabby, confronting what the hell happened to Rarity, and all that stuff as a totally separate story happening in December. And then once that comes out, the next year afterward, I will bring back SLC. The reason being is because I'm making SLC canon to the events of Slave Spike. Slave Spike will end leading into the Genshin Impact storyline. You guys understand? And I've sort of already laid the groundwork for this. For those who have read the caramel strawberry parts of the story of SWC, you might have read parts of a certain dragon appearing. Yeah, that isn't Spike the Dragon returning to the story. a certain friend of mine in the DMs who's been helping me out, you might have remembered mentioning a certain dragon appearing during SLC. Yeah, that's the same dragon appearing in SWC helping out Caramel. That's the same dragon. So yeah, I was already considering making this canon all the way back then, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to pop off the shotgun, as it were. If I wasn't going to, I was just going to say, oh, this is just a random dragon that just happens to be a similar idea. Or I was just going to flat out say, oh, this is just darker Spike that just happened to go through a lot of shit off screen. But no, no, no. I am popping off the shotgun. When this story of Slave Spike meeting Gabby and going through everything that happened to Rarity during the events of Destroyed Canterlot, when that comes out, know that next year afterward, we are returning to SLC, and you can see all the stories return. We'll get a massive chunk of the story back. But for those wondering, what is coming out in July then? Since Spike's side story was originally planned to come out this summer, why isn't it? Well, the first obvious reason is Dragon May Cry. Dragon May Cry has been very popular with the readers. People love it, and it is coming out during the summer. So obviously I can't have Spike's SWC side story coming out at the same time as Dragon May Cry, especially since Spike's side story has Gabby introduced as a main character, but Gabby will also be playing a major role in Dragon May Cry. Or at least she will be during the July postings, which is kind of hilarious timing-wise. I'm like, holy shit, she will be. Oh, blaze, she will be during the July postings. So yeah, I kind of had to move the Spike side stories to to somewhere else entirely. So what is coming out in July? Well, another idea I have been thinking of doing for SWC is a Daring Do story, a spicy Daring Do story involving Daring Do going hunting down our missing students. As you know, for readers of SWC, let me summarize for readers who don't know. Basically, a tyrant has taken over Canterlot, destroyed everything. The main six are missing, including Rainbow Dash. We know we have some implication on what might have happened to three of them. We know an implication that three of them are alive, but we don't know where the other three are. Rainbow Dash is under the implication of we don't know where she is. We don't even know if she's alive, okay? So that raises really big red flags for Daring Do, especially since also Quibble Pants is missing too. Well, rather, his story hasn't been fully fleshed out yet, since most of his stories are during the prologues, and you've only seen bits and pieces of what he's been up to during the prologues, that being he's exploring the far north, trying to figure out what Jack and Sunburst are doing, right? And apparently some sort of explosion happens there, and we don't know what happened to them in modern day. They're just gone. Both Sunburst and Quibblepants are gone, and Jack is now apparently a bum in present day. A lot of time travel happens in SWC, okay? So, yeah. But the main thing with the Daring Do storyline is it gives us a new point of view to explore with her basically going on the run from the authorities and joining up with this spicy pirate girl, and they're going to head to the north and try to find what happened to Quibblepants, maybe what happened to Rainbow Dash, because if you guys remember, the interconnections between Journey to Heartswarming and SWC are something that Rainbow Dash found, Daring Do and Rainbow Dash found in, I can't remember where, I think it was in the Hourglass. ruins. Yeah, in the Hourglass ruins. Something they found there, and then the tyrant appeared. So it's clearly there's an interconnection here I can explore, and I really do want to explore here. Overall, this will be one of the biggest, not lengthwise, but one of the biggest, most important side stories to be exploring. And I'm I originally wanted to have this be a side story of to its own, not connected to the side stories in general. But since we're kicking Spike to his own little solo side stories, I might as well just put her in place. Plus, I can't really put any other characters in place. From what you might remember from my attempts at Part 5, I've been trying to interchange other characters in Part 5, and with horrible success. I tried to put Mayor into a Part 5, it didn't work. I tried to put a singer character in Part 5, didn't work. I tried all kinds of different characters. Eventually, I settled on Part 5 being Sweetie Belle, I think. Yeah, we're exploring Sweetie Belle and Rarity's backstory in Part 5. I don't want to spoil too much since it's not that long of a story, but it's mostly a comedy story. Not really dark, but there are some tragic things to explore. Okay, some really heavy stuff to go dive into that I'm trying to look with more of a comedic lens. And by comedic lens, I mean Family Guy lens. This is probably going to be the most comedically heavy story I'm doing out of all my SWCs. Hence the reason the first part really does not require any extra reading at all whatsoever. You can read it bare, raw, naked, and get. You don't need any context at all. Okay? Outside for the fact the characters are anthro. Like, that's literally the only context you need. Like, that's obviously, they're in the universe that the characters are blah, blah. My mouth is all over the place. How many times have I tried to do this? Like, 17 minutes isn't that bad. Like, at least this one isn't 2 hours long like the last take was. Anyway, folks, I wanted to update you on the schedule that next week there will be no Dragon May Cry, but we will be returning the week afterward. The reason being that I wanted to post some SWC parts, and in July we'll be getting part 6, which will be covering Daring Do. Okay? We'll also be getting Where Is Every Pony next week, the next chapter. I'm hoping everyone's hyped for that. People love that series. And today, obviously, will be the end of Act 3 with a very, very big. This chapter is going to be a heavy one in general. Obviously, as you know, I'm ending every single act of Dragon May Cry with something explicit. But while this is obviously an explicit chapter, the first chunk, and even smutty shit, there's a lot to dive into story-wise. It isn't simply, oh, we're doing fluffy sex shit for the sex of fluffy, you know. Like, I'm actually genuinely scared to post this chapter. Because, warning, very big warning, I did not feel good writing this chapter at all. This was designed very much to show two things. One, Spike's mind is unstable in the flashbacks. Spike's mind is very unstable in the flashbacks. Two, Rarity's mind is very unstable in the flashbacks. And three, Blue Blood's an asshole. Blue Blood is an asshole. That's in all timelines. Or at least when it comes to these stories. When it comes to Dragon May Cry, my aim for Blue Blood is a straight up villain. But not in the sakes of, oh, he's evil because evil. No. You read the chapter, you know exactly what I'm going for this character. Some people like to write him as a good guy. Some people like to write him as this redeemed hero. Heck, I've wrote him as this sort of detective character in Hoodwink. That was really good. This is not Hoodwink. This is not me writing him as a good guy. If you don't read this chapter, I understand. Frankly, I don't want to read this chapter. This was not written for fluff. This was written to... I can only wonder what the ratings will be after this, dang it. Anyway, folks, this is my advertisement for the chapter, for my schedule, for everything. Blah, 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 blah. I'm posting it, and I'm stopping before I... Oh, bloody hell, I'm in over 20 minutes. Fuck.